Guys, welcome back to another episode of Bang for Your Business with me, Lucas Hamby, and co-host James Benet. Today we've got a very exciting guest. We've got Lorcan Parnell from AC Schnitzer. If you guys don't know, AC Schnitzer are a massive player in the BMW and Mini market. Yeah, Lorcan, how are you doing?
Hello there. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Yeah, settled in nicely.
So how are you finding lockdown? How long have you kind of been there? Are you at home currently?
I've been here for 6 weeks now. I previously did a job that entailed working from home, so it's not a complete strange experience for me. And I'm reasonably self-disciplined and start and finish when I should and get my head down and get through as much as I can.
Yeah, you find some people, actually thrive in the situation, working by themselves in their own kind of environment. It kind of just depends person to person. But I guess firstly, just to give everyone a little bit of context about the business, could you tell us a little bit more about AC Schnitzer, its history, and I guess its typical customer as well?
Sure. So AC Schnitzer is a German tuning company. They've been around for about 33 years. The company was born when two German racing drivers, Joseph and Herbert Schnitzer, teamed up with a guy called Willy Cole, who owned Cole BMW in Aachen. And they decided to release some road-going products based on their racing experience. So in 1987, they launched AC Schnitzer. AC is the designation on all car number plates in Aachen, so they all start with the letters AC. So they teamed up AC and Schnitzer, made AC Schnitzer to make exciting and innovative products for what were at the time fairly standard road-going BMWs. And the business grew quite quick. The products were very stylish for the time, made a regular looking BMW look and performed quite exciting. They got into all sorts of engineering conversions like big bore crate engines, wild cams, supercharger kits, things of that nature, and some nice alloy wheels and suspension components. And the business grew from there, and it's now in 35 countries. It's sold through BMW dealerships in some countries and independent garages in other countries, and in the UK it's a mix of the two.
How about yourself? How did you get into the business, Lorcan?
I saw the job advertised in a local paper, and my background is in motorcycle tuning and racing as a hobby. So I knew a bit about the tuning process and can talk with some knowledge about what is involved. I've also run my own business in the past, so I was able to run, a department of Rossiters, which was AC Schnitzer, once I'd learned a bit about the products.
What
And
was
how
that
long?
previous? Sorry, James.
No, I was just going to say, how long have you been there?
Nearly 10 years now. So I started in 2011.
What was that previous business then? Because it's just quite interesting. Was that something within the motor trade, or was that something completely separate? And this was more of a passion the passion area that you wanted to kind of get into.
No, that was completely separate. I had a sign making company, which I sold. And then I was looking around for something else to do. And my lifelong hobby has been tuning and racing bikes. So something close to that seemed like a good idea.
So, I mean, have you had any, would you say, game-changing moments with the business since you've been there for the 10 years?
The game changer really was opening an online shop, not so that customers could purchase all the upgrades that we offer, more as a shop window. So Schnitzer has about 3,000 products for cars and bikes, and we needed customers to be able to see all those products and choose the ones they liked. And the best way to do that really was to create an online shop and then ally that or team that up with suitable dealers we could find around the country. So we tried to bring those two together so that customers can see a product, order it through their dealer and have it fitted competently by a local garage.
And that changed sort of the makeup and the performance of the business, putting that.
Yeah, because prior to that, Schnitzer, AC Schnitzer UK had a website, but it didn't list all the products. It basically said, "This is what we do. Get in touch, for a quote." And of course, a lot of people did get in touch for a quote, but it's also an opportunity not to get in touch if you're busy working during the day and not able to make that call until you get home. And the beauty of an online shop, even if you don't buy through it, is that you can browse those products in the evening and the weekends.
I mean, yeah, e-commerce is massive now. I mean, I'd be interested to hear at what point you guys made that change and why that was. Obviously, I think e-commerce is huge, but it's going to have another surge now that I think, some businesses are kind of forced into that because of, say, everything going on with lockdown. They're going to have to change that business model slightly. So it'd be interesting to hear when that change was for you guys and why you kind of decided to make that decision.
Well, there's a bit of history associated with Schnitzer, which will sort of explain what happened there. Rossiter's, the company I work for, was the original importer of AC Schnitzer from about 1989, and the business grew quite quickly. Appointed a number of dealers who were mostly BMW dealers, and then in 1997. BMW GB took the brand over and made AC Schnitzer the approved tuning brand of BMW in the UK. So that meant that all AC Schnitzer products were BMW approved, which is their little tag, and were sold through every BMW dealership in the country. And that relationship lasted until about 2007, when BMW brought out their own range of accessories called M Performance, which I'm sure you've heard of.
Yes.
So at that point, BMW GB released the AC Schnitzer brand in the UK back to us at Rossiter's, and shortly after that, I was hired to build the business back up, having lost all those dealers, basically.
We're going through some pretty tough times right now. Other than the current period, have you been through tough times before? Can you talk us
Not since I've been with the business. I mean, the toughest time for Rossiter's and AC Schnitzer UK was that transition time when BMW brought out M Performance and released AC Schnitzer back to us. Was at that time, AC Schnitzer under BMW had about 150 dealers, and the number of dealers rapidly declined because they were asked to sell M Performance instead of AC Schnitzer. So that was the biggest change for the business, really.
So obviously, as James said, we're going through a tough period currently. It'd be interesting to hear firstly, what your marketing strategy looked like prior to COVID-19 and how that's adapted now that we're in lockdown.
The strategy really is just to align the online shop with a number of suitable dealers. So we kept a few BMW dealers from the transition and recruited a few more. And some BMW dealers are really open to the idea of selling AC Schnitzer. They remember it from the BMW days, and others are less interested. So coupled with those BMW dealers, we have a number of independent tuning specialists around the country that I would say fall into two camps. They're either tuners that sell lots of tuning brands for other car makes and models outside of BMW, or they are service centres. Often they are ex-BMW technicians who have set up their own business to service owners BMW. Sometimes they're older than 3 years old, so those cars that are out of warranty would go to an independent service centre rather than to a BMW dealer. So both of those kinds of business are able to offer AC Schnitzer parts and fit them for customers. Um, the only real change through the virus period has been that a lot of those businesses are closed. Workshops and showrooms can't really open and keep customers safe. So some of our continuing business has been mail order. We're still in touch with those dealers and hope to resume normal business when it's safe to do that.
Just touching on the point you made earlier, M Performance came along and BMW GB adopted those technologies. Can you just talk through the differences between AC Schnitzer and M Performance, and also why your customers choose AC Schnitzer and others would choose M Performance?
M Performance is not such a big brand in terms of the number of products. I think with 3,000 products in our lineup, some BMW dealers found that was a lot to deal with. There was a lot of extra work on their plate, and they weren't too familiar with all the products. So when BMW released M Performance, I think they tried to streamline the number of products and make it perhaps easier to understand for people who weren't too familiar with tuning cars and bikes, including some of their dealers. Whereas Schnitzer, I think, is more of an enthusiast brand, more of an experts brand, possibly less cosmetic and more to do with the handling and performance outright of the car. There are people in our customer base who are extremely knowledgeable. Some of them are racing drivers or former racing drivers. Some of them are technicians and able to do their own work. But you've got a broad span of knowledge, from those all the way to people who have never even thought about tuning their car before, and never even considered it to be an option that they would want to get involved with until something sparks their interest.
But that's painted a really good picture, so thank you.
We were talking a little bit about this before we went live, but we kind of discussed a little bit about that connectivity that you found with your customers through social messenger. I think specifically Facebook. Could you talk a little bit about that? The power you've found in it since lockdown, and whether that's something you're going to continue to be utilising post lockdown.
Yeah, so when the lockdown started, we added a Facebook Messenger app to our website, and that's brought some fresh customers and inquiries to us that perhaps we wouldn't have heard otherwise. There's a lot of new inquiries, a lot of inquiries from customers with older cars, previous generation E-Series BMWs, E36, E46, that kind of thing, which AC Schnitzer no longer manufacture for. But those customers at least can check with us and see if anything is available, or and engage with the brand a little bit, that when they wouldn't have had the opportunity to do that outside of the lockdown, they'd be too busy.
And with the lockdown, can you talk us through sort of the changes and the measures you've had to put into place as a result of COVID-19?
Only that. The only change really is that we can't allow customers to wait for fitting. We get a lot of customers come to us direct to have suspension fitted, and they would normally wait while that is done, or an exhaust or a performance upgrade or something like that. We're not able to allow them to wait. So basically we're storing up some of those inquiries for times when things are more normal again. Some of our dealers are operating on a smaller basis and can cope with the car that's dropped off and then picked up again later. But sometimes that's not possible depending on what the item is.
Do you have much of an idea? Have you guys thought about much in terms of what marketing might look like, once we've come out of lockdown?
Well, we're already, seeing a transition away from printed media towards online media. So we've been building up our social media presence with an Instagram account added. We already had Facebook and Twitter, so we've added an Instagram account. That seems a very popular medium for customers and also vloggers and people might call influencers to use. And we think that Instagram is going to be a growth platform for us. We're starting to run a scheduling app so that we can make posts here in the evening and over the weekends when perhaps we're not at work. And we think that will continue to help grow our business.
Yeah, it's so important, that consistency, and that's great to hear that you guys are using one of these scheduling apps, because using something like that and putting it in place and being able to see a map of what posts are going up when, what types of posts they are, really does help. For you guys at home, one that I use that's really good is Buffer. It's a really good kind of scheduling app for social media platforms across different platforms there. I mean, just out of interest for other business owners within similar areas that this may be of value to, what kind of posts work really well for you guys? Like, what gets the most engagement for you?
I guess attractive looking photography or video seems to do the best. If we talk just about products, that can come across as quite a sort of sterile subject unless you get some emotional attachment involved, and a nice looking artistic photography and video seems to engage with customers better. We try and do a bit of post-production with our photography. The photography is all done at AC Schnitzer in Germany, and it's very easy to photograph a car or some component on a white background. But we add some backgrounds and effects sometimes to make the car look more dynamic and more interesting to look at.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's what you just said about the promotional side is really, really important, because it's, something I always say is it's jab, 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 right hook. So the jabs are the giving, whether that be nice imagery of the cars, something that is going to trigger that emotion for the customers, and then which makes that the right hook of that promotion, which you use few and far between, a lot more effective. So yeah.
Yeah. We try and make videos look as interesting as possible. Quite often they're at various racetracks in Germany. Schnitzer test at a number of tracks. The Nürburgring, Spa are the two most popular. They take part in events with tyre companies where they can co-produce some video content, and that always goes down well with our customers.
How do you stay positive in challenging times like these?
I don't find it difficult. I'm a positive, optimistic kind of person anyway.
Yeah.
I realise that the challenges are there and very difficult for some people to work with, and everyone knows probably somebody else who's in a difficult situation. But we just have to try our best and make the best of what life throws at us sometimes.
Yeah, I like that. Moving on from that, what kind of advice do you have for other businesses during times like this, and specifically in the automotive trade?
I think all we can do is to make the best of the situation. So if you are able to spend some time engaging with your customers, even if you're not selling something on that day, perhaps I think educating customers perhaps isn't the right term, but discussing with customers what their needs are and what their expectations are can lead you down a path where you actually agree on a course of action on something that might be appropriate. So we quite often get inquiries for say a suspension spring kit, whereas what the customer is really looking for is better controlled damping, rebound damping. The car's getting quite out of control over sort of bumpy surfaces or something like that, something that can't be cured by a spring kit alone. So they might need a spring and damper kit, and just discussing the customer's experience with them will lead them down that journey to realise what it is they actually need rather than what they thought they needed.
So they end up buying well and negating problems down the line because
hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, sometimes it works the other way around. Somebody will say, I need a coilover kit for this car, and we discuss it, and what they're actually looking for is something that looks nice, but they're not too worried about ever going on a track day or something like that. And they might be just happy with a spring kit that makes the car look lower and handle a little bit nicer.
But as you say, it's good to talk. It's good to find out what people want, and then you can update your communications.
Sure.
From that, can't you? You understand more.
So we do that over the phone. We do it by email. We do it on forums. We're active on Bimmer Post is the main forum, but some others as well. And then the various social media channels are all have opportunities for you to just have a chat with customers and discuss their experience and what they're looking for.
And what impact do you think this will have, the situation at the moment, this will have on your market?
On our market?
Yeah.
Well, no doubt, the volume of business is gonna suffer a little bit temporarily, but we think if we stay in touch with customers, long term, then there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to pick that business back up again at a later date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, like you say, it's as long as you which you guys have clearly done work to build that brand and that kind of that connectivity element that your customers can feel like they can come and talk to you and can easily connect with you through social or through your website or whatever means. You've created that brand, so in the long term they will be there, no matter what kind of happens.
Yeah, we hope so. We want customers to come back. We're happy, very happy for them to buy an introductory product and then perhaps talk to us again in a year or two. We have many customers who come back to us repeatedly, time and again, with different cars, and we want to give them a good experience and retain them and see them again another time.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, Lorcan, this has been really, really insightful. I think it's been some really nice nuggets there of information that other businesses will find really useful. Thank you so much for the time today. Guys, if that was of any use to you, please share it around. Please give this video a like, subscribe as well. Well, yeah, thank you guys. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.